welcome back. We are continuing our season where we're working on Python and certification, essentially. And what we're going to do today is we're going to sort of continue a little bit in the vein of what we were working on before. So we've got a little if statements, and we're going to keep these, but we're going to play around a little bit more this time around. So what we can do is first I want to work on some arrays, and we may not, we'll see how far we get into this. So let's go just start here with an array. So we're going to do, here is an array example. So we're going to do my array equals, and we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, let's do this. Let's do 8, 9, 10. And actually, we're going to call this morning array because we're going to work with this for a little bit. And this is going to be day array, which will be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And then we're going to do evening array, which is going to be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Because we're going to play around with these a little bit. So if we look at the, well, let's move these. It probably doesn't like the space there. So let's just do this first. We're going to do print morning array. And we'll just look at that first. There we go. Let's do this. Let's get rid of some stuff here. We're going to do Python 3. I think it's array. There we go. So array vector, let's see. I don't think we have the input. Yeah. So we get, oh, we did put the input first. Okay, I'm sorry. So if we do that, so we can see that it prints out the array much as we had it. So printing an array, pretty straightforward. Now, one of the things we can do is we can actually check for a value. So instead of doing the morning here, we can actually say if it is in morning array, then, oh, let's do it something like 8 or 7. So here, note that it's saying good morning because 7 is in the morning array. So we can actually, building an array is pretty simple. We can check what's in it. We can also do what's called slicing. And so I could actually do print morning array. I'm just going to do, let's just print like the first 3. I think this is the slicing. Let's see if this works out. Yep. And so it's a slice. I'm just saying I want to do the index, the 0 index up to 3, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. But it's not inclusive, as you see here. So that's 0, 1, 2. And here, it's not going to include, so it's item 3. If I go to, the whole thing is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 there. If I go to 10, because there's not 10 items, then it's going to go all the way out. If I do 12, it's going to go all the way out. So see, when you're doing a slice, it's not going to let you know if it runs off the list. So if I were to do slicing this array 10 to 12, actually let's do like something crazy like 15 to 20. And then we're going to see that that's an empty array because there is, I'm sorry, make sure I don't. So there, it's an empty array. It's getting no items back in the 15 to 20. So this is a great way to check an index and not have it, throw out an issue or something like that, because you know that if it comes back empty, then we have, we've gone out, we have an invalid index within the array. Otherwise, I could do, if I do 20, in that case, now notice I'm not doing a slice here. I'm actually trying to grab this specific item. But in this case, I am going to get an index out of range. So if I slice, if I do a slice, I don't think it likes that. I'm trying to remember if it'll like that. We'll check that real quick. Oh, it does. So it's going to go out to this range. This is as far as it'll go. Or I can start at this item. And so you can see that if I don't have something on the front end, well, let's do this. Let's actually keep a couple of these before I go too nuts with them. So here's a couple things. And let's put, so there are 3 ways we can do this. Now these, let's do this. This, we're actually grabbing the index. We need the indexed item within the array. And so we will get an error if this is an invalid index. If we put that colon in there, then it's going to treat it as a slice. Whatever is to the left is where we start. Whatever is to the right is where we end. If there's nothing there, it takes it all the way to the end. And if at the start, if there's nothing there, that means it's going to start at the very first. So this, so 0, so if we go to 4 and we go 0 to 4, what we're going to see is that those two are identical. This is 0 to 4. I'm sorry. This one is a blank to 4. This one is a 0 to 4. You can go either way with those. So that allows you to, within here, you could actually, and let's say, let's do a all array. Let's take this. Well, let's just do this. All array equals, let's add these together. Morning array plus day array plus eve array. And then print all array. Let's see what happens when we try to add those together. Notice that it appends them all together. And it is an append. So if I change this to day, so let's just do this. Then notice it appends it. Each of these is an append. So we can append arrays. Let me go back where I was. And so now what we have is I can actually change around this. So I said if int value in morning array. I can actually do if it is in all array and morning is going to be 0 to 10, I think is what we did. And I can say if that is in all array, and so 12 is actually going to be 13. And then this one greater is going to be in all array. And what did I say? I said greater than 17, so I'm going to do that. So actually I can do it this way. So that's going to be less than 11, greater than 17. And then I'm going to do that. So let's go play with that for a second. Yeah, we can keep the rest of those in there. So now if I do that, whoops, didn't like that. Okay, so now if I do, so if I do a 5, it says good morning. If I do 11, it's still good morning because I did it up to 11. Oh, because I don't have a 0. My mistake. I got to move that. I'm sorry. So if I go up to 10, so that is going to be 12. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So let me see. And then that's going to be 16 on. No, because that's 4. So that should be right. Okay, let's try this. So here's our array. And so if we do, let's do this. So let's do 10. It's going to be good morning because it's going to say that it showed up here. If we do 12, then it's going to blow up. Oh, did I miss something there? Argument of type is not iterable. Oh, I'm sorry, because it's going to have to be equals. My mistake, because I can't do an in for a single cell. That makes sense. My mistake. And so now it's saying it's not, so it is off. Okay, so let's look at this. So I can go out to 0 to here. So that should be 13. And that starts at 15, and that goes out to 10. So let's try that again. So if I do 10, it's still good morning, which is right. If I do 11, it's good evening. So I'm not getting that one right. Oh, because I ended up, oh, I'm sorry, because this one is actually, this isn't evening and day. Oh, sorry. Let's fix those up a little bit. So now the default will be day. So now, if I go in the morning, it says good morning. And if I go at 10 a.m., oh, sorry, it's still morning. But if I go to 11, it's going to be the day. If I go at noon, let's make sure I check that real quick. Let's print array 13, because I think I need, oh, I'm going the wrong direction. I don't need 13, I need 11, I think is what I need. So now, there we go, good noon. If I do 1 o'clock, oh, if I do 1 o'clock, it's still during the day. Now if I do 5 o'clock, it's during the day, because that's going to be the last one here. Because this actually starts at, this starts at 5 o'clock for the evening. So now 5 o'clock is 17. If I do 17, good evening, which is 5 o'clock. Well, if I do 4 o'clock, then it's still during the day. So now I can do this instead. I could actually have, which is great if I want to do things like checking for items within a weekend, or like I can do here, I can slice stuff up. I can look for ranges of colors and things like that. This really makes it easy for me to play around with ranges and arrays. It is key to understand these as we're looking at certification. Now, one other thing I failed to mention before I wanted to touch on is when we're building out, in particularly else's and ifs, and when we get into while loops, sometimes we want to build something out. And so we're going to say, I'm going to come back to it, basically. So I'm going to say here, so I don't have night yet. So let's say 16 to, we'll do to 9 o'clock. So which is what, 21, which is actually 20. I'm sorry. And then we're going to say something here. So we're going to say if it's 20 or beyond, let's say 21 and beyond, then I'm going to do something else. Now, what I mean to do at some point is I'm probably going to say, good night. But I can say, I don't really know what I'm going to do here yet. And so instead, I'm going to do a pass. And what that does is if I don't do anything, let's do that first. If I don't do anything, then it blows up right away. It's not going to run at all because it needs something after that. I need that indented block. But if I do pass, that basically says I'm going to come back to this later. And now it allows me to run it. And I'm going to be fine. And now I'll actually get, so if I do something late at night, I'm going to get actually nothing because it actually fell all the way through. It came to here. It said, hey, I hit this. And it doesn't fall to else. Instead, it says, hey, I'm here. I'm just going to do a pass on that. I'm not going to do anything. So you can use that to put placeholders in and still allow yourself to run through. And you may want to do like a pass, and then, to do, let's fill in this code, something like that. So you may do something like that at some point. Pass is not used a whole lot, but it's really probably, especially in a a running system, but it is a way for you to put some placeholders in and have something that sort of flows through and even to slice and dice your programs a little bit. So outside of the fact that you need to at least know that it exists for the certification point of view, it is something that can prove helpful in the long run. So that's your basics of arrays. Now they do have vectors within Python, but that's a separate package. I'll probably swing back around and use that at some point. So although there is, and we'll probably swing back around as we're getting into the while loop, we're going to throw some vector stuff in. There's not a whole lot of difference between it other than once you get in vectors, you can do things that are a little bit different than the way arrays work. But you can still do multi-dimensional arrays, much like vectors. So I could do, I can do some other stuff. I'm not going to step into that because I probably need more than a few minutes. I don't want to go too long on this. So I'm going to wrap this one up and actually hold this as just really originally, I'm going to say, I'm going to say part 1 is array, part 2 is vector. So we'll sort of get back to that later. And we'll call this one a day. This will, as always, will be out there in the GitHub repository. Take a look. You can check out some of these examples. You can play around with this, especially get comfortable with the arrays, with their indexing and with their slicing, because you will see some of that, and it'll probably be, most likely, you're going to see things like on a test, what this number is, making sure that it is the right one so that you get the correct elements in the array. I would play with it a bit and be really comfortable with those before I get into the certification. That being said, we'll let you get back to it. So go out there, have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.